more thoughts. Also, this reminds me of, if you look through the arch, it could either be, it also kind of looks to me like Castel San Angelo. The arch on the right, which I can show you. It is this. What's this? Which means that this would be Rome, which means this would be the Tiber, which means that that is hilariously, it is the river in Dante where the entrance to purgatory is. Dante doesn't go that way, but normally there's a boat that picks the righteous souls up on the river Tiber in Rome and takes them to purgatory by boat. It would not be the Arno, since Dante hates Florence at this point, and he has this whole tirade about the Arno and how it breeds filth all through Tuscany. So clearly not. Clearly, we're going with the river in Rome, and also it's right near the Vatican. It's like a whole thing. So he says that so that would be interesting given the Dante of it all, as well. It also just, I was trying to look up different pictures of, Rome and the Tiber. And this bridge is actually very interesting, this Ponte Sant'Angelo, because it has these Bernini sculptures on top, although I think there might be, that are the Stations of the Cross. And that's really interesting because it's seven sort of mini ordeals that Christ purportedly had to go, objects he had with him sort of at the cross, and one of them is the nails, and one of them is the Shroud of Turin that Saint Teresa maybe wiped his brow with some rag or something, and then that transmitted his face onto it. It's a whole thing. So there's seven of those kind of things like that, and it's this whole procession of the Passion thing every Easter. It's a whole thing. But that is actually completely probably appropriated, the church appropriating the old Inanna story of the seven lunar gates, where she has to have these seven sort of mini sacrifices and mortifications on her trip to the underworld, which is also where Christ's going. He's also about to undergo a underworld journey. And Lent is also 40 days and 40 nights, so if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Inanna has to do with the Babylonian conception of the Venus retrograde. And when people were imprisoned, they always had to walk down this, for a while, at a certain time, walk down this bridge, because they use this as a prison. This also was originally built as Hadrian's tomb, the notable gay icon and architect, Hadrian, the Roman emperor. Anyways, it's a really cool building, and it has a really cool circular staircase in the middle. Highly recommend. What else? And then I was also thinking, this kind of made me think of the view from this painting by Vermeer, the view of Delft. That idea of when I think of that kind of picture, this composition of this landscape with the river and the city, it's not really usual in Italian painting. It's a big deal. They were constantly doing it in the Netherlands and Belgium. That was their jam. And you'll see cities and stuff in Italian art, but it's really this whole idea of this forced perspective, the river in the city. It's a whole thing. And it actually, this is another earlier example. They go out of the building, and you can see the river and the city in the background. It's a big thing. And it also has to do with the genre painting, which is a movement mainly in the Northern Renaissance / Dutch Golden Age, which are Northern Renaissance a little earlier. And Dutch Golden Age is about 1600-ish, with Vermeer and Rembrandt and all those guys. This idea of genre painting, which is the day-to-day tasks, glorifying the mundane, and the internal lives, which mostly were of women, and which is Vermeer does a lot. You can see Rembrandt does, and all of that. Not these highfalutin mythical scenes or portraits, but just very intimate moments at home, and elevating that to the status of great art. And you could say that is what Taylor has done with her life. It's kind of a genre painting. Similar to like Louisa May Alcott writing about her childhood and like elevating the domestic life of women to the status of art and something that should be talked about. And is that it? Oh, and then I also, given this, Tiber, there's a lot of rivers both in the underworld, in mythology, in general, and also in Dante's conception of purgatory and the transition from purgatory to paradise, where you have to go through as I've talked about before, the Lethe and the Eunoe. The Lethe is where you lose your memories, and the Eunoe is where you gain back some of your memories. And I was thinking about this being a Venus retrograde story of her going back through her memories, and that kind of has to do with the Eras tour. She's starting out potentially in the middle of the river, and then she's ending up by diving back into the river at the end of the surprise songs. So, they said the art history degree would never come in handy.